Hi everybody, welcome to today's NBS webinar, How NBS Can Help You in 2025. The webinar is going to last between 45 minutes and 60 minutes. Everyone on the call today's microphones are muted, but we do want as much feedback, as many questions as possible. So please familiarise yourself with the little questions box and we'll follow up any questions after the session. So my name is Dr. Stephen Hamill. I'm Innovation Director here at NBS and I'll be the host today. And we're going to have two of my colleagues presenting. So the first is David Morris, who's product owner at NBS, and he's going to show some of the improvements that we made to NBS Chorus through 2024 and hint a little bit at what our product roadmap is in 2025. And then after David's presentation, we're going to hear from Taylor Bork, sales manager at NBS, who's going to look at sort of the other side of NBS, the sort of manufacturer side, looking at NBS Source and also RIBA CPD. So all of the great developments that happened last year in 2024 and what to expect in 2025. So without more ado, I'm going to pass over to David Morris now. Over to you, David.
Hi folks, let me first begin by showing you some of the improvements that we've made with publishing your specification. So bit of an orientation. I'm showing you NBS Chorus. I'm inside an architectural spec that's based on the Chorus content set. Everything I'm going to show you today will work for all of the Chorus content sets. So this specification, it's got 37 sections, block walling, accessories for block walling, curtain walling, and so on. And then if you look at the publishing history, we've published it 17 times. So we began with the first contractual version and we published the full spec. And then from that point forward, we published smaller numbers of sections themed around packages, so wall coverings, shading systems, and so on. And then most recently, we published it again for our third contractual version as the full spec. So with that sort of background, let me show you the specification itself. So you've obviously got the cover page with the metadata about what issue we're talking about. Here's contractual version 3, the table of contents. What's new what was new in 2024 is we introduced a new separator page that sits in front of the sections. So before the clauses for F10 block walling begins, there are the clauses there. You've got this optional new page, and it gives the reader the background to when this section was published. So what this is telling us is that the F10 block walling was published, first of all, when we published the first contractual version as the full spec. Then it was included when we published the external walls package, which we published twice. And then again, when we republished the full spec again for the third contractual version. It's also super handy for the reader because it calls out which of the clauses have changed. So in this situation, 3 clauses were added, and you can handily jump straight to that section, that part of the section, to see the new clause. If you contrast that with one of the other sections, so let me show you the external door sets. Slightly different story here. Again, it was published with the full spec, but we only issued the door package once, and then again, when it was the full spec again. And a slightly different story in terms of which clauses were changed in that time. So that's revision history and details of amended clauses. The second thing I want to show you, if I just switch back to Chorus, is a new publishing output. So if I go back to the Actions menu, click on Publish Specification, you can now publish your specification and output separate documents. And what this means is that each section becomes a separate document. And fairly new, this was introduced towards the end of 2024, around about November. Even though you're publishing to separate documents, you can still use the full compare functionality to publish your sections with revisions, and you can save what you're publishing to the history. So let me just show you what that looks like. So if we just switch to Windows. So when you publish to separate documents, Chorus will produce a zip folder for you. And in the zip folder, you see file for every section. So there's the F10 section. Let me just show you that. So just like before, I've opted to include the revision history and those details of amended clauses. And you can see that this section or this document is only 7 pages long because it's only covering the clauses in the F10 block warning section. And I've also chosen to remove the cover page and the table of contents that you'd normally see. So it goes straight in to that revision history and then straight into the clauses. The next thing I'd like to show you is to do with the summary grid and tags. So back into Chorus, slightly different specification, also based on cause. And what I'm going to show you now is that you have this new control, and you can add tags of your own making. You can apply tags to whole sections or systems and whole articles if we're talking master format or clauses. And this is super handy. So if you're the specifier who's also in charge of managing the packages that you issue out, tags are a great way of managing packages. So if I just scroll down and just show you here, we've got a shorthand. WP stands for work packages. So DRS, doors, there's that external wars package. If I click on it, Chorus will filter out all of the sections that aren't assigned to that tag. So it's left me with 9. And then it's really easy to publish that selection. And that's my work package. Obviously, the contents is great for whole sections, whole systems, whole products and activities if we're talking uniclass. But the summary grid also has this tagging functionality. And this is where you can get to that granularity at a clause or an article level. And tags can be used for a variety of purposes. So perhaps, for example, you're wanting to think about contractors' actions, and you want to pull out all of the clauses that represent the various samples that you require. You've now got a short, defined list of the 18 clauses in the spec. Obviously, the clause titles will be really similar, but the nice thing about this view is you can also see which section these clauses are part of. So you've got the rigid sheet wall lining, the windows, the balustrades, and you can export that to Excel. The final thing I'd like to show you is when you're specifying building product materials. Now, if I just switch to NBS Source, what I'm showing you now is a Genie board, which is a fiber reinforced gypsum floorboard. And this product comes in 3, we call them variants. If you think about a variant, it's the same product, but depending on perhaps different dimensions, that will result in different properties. Now, a nice way of seeing what choices you've got when you're specifying is to click the compare variants. So I can now see a nice interface with all 3 options of this Genie board. And if you scroll down the table, the interface calls out where the properties start to differ. So on the left, we've got this Genie board K2. It's the greatest thickness compared to the 301 and the 302. And obviously that means difference in weight, fire classification, and so on. It's really important to us, and it's really important to suppliers that the specifier can specify this information accurately. So we did some improvements to specifying variables that I want to show you. So let me switch to Chorus again. I'm showing you a clause where this Genie board is brought in from. So if I select a clause to check it out, maybe filter on the manufacturer, there's our Genie board. You can see it's got 3 variants in the label there. What's new is when you click to add that to your specification, you're now given the choice. You get to say which variant it is you want to add. So let's focus on the K2 version. That was the thickest of the 3. We'll add that into the selection box and click add to spec. And then that gets added to my specification. And I don't have to do any more in terms of being concerned about those properties. So You can see here that the variant name is is brought into the product reference title. We've got the right thickness. We just go back. It was 57 millimeters, 53 kilograms per meter squared. They're all provided for me. And that's the only choice I get, because only the properties for that particular variant have been added into the clause. There's one final thing which I really want to show off because I think it's super cool. Source itself is a fantastic place to sort of search, research, and decide on which products you want to use, and really encourage specifiers to use it in tandem with Chorus. So you could have them side by side, as I have here. And we've made an improvement so that when you've got the clause selected, the one you want the product to go into, it's as easy as dragging and dropping straight into your specification. Are you sure you want to add this product from NBS Source? Yeah, we are. Let's add the product. And in it goes correct variant name, all the correct properties, and in they go. So the final thing I want to just point out is the different Chorus plans we've got on the go and how these new features feature within those different plans. So we sell Chorus as Chorus, Chorus Pro, and Chorus Premium. And in terms of specifying those construction products, the specifying of product variants and the dragging and dropping directly from the source are available in all three plans. The publishing to separate documents is available with Chorus Pro and Chorus Premium. The summary schedules is Chorus Pro and Premium, and the tagging functionality is with Chorus Premium. Thanks very much. Stephen, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for the demo, David. I forgot about the drag and drop between two web browser windows. That really is quite nice when you see it again. And all of the things you demonstrated there were developed in 2024 and are now live there in the product, ready to help customers in 2025.
That's right. That's correct.
Now, I wanted to just, first of all, just ask about the work, and we did a lot of work in 2024 on things like the revisions and the publishing options. How did that come about, and how did we involve customers in that?
Yeah, you can imagine with the Building Safety Act and the related legislation, there's a growing need to have a process to manage revisions for specifications. But also having an accurate and up-to-date specification really helps with communicating amongst the project stakeholders. We had several workshops with customer groups and customers throughout 2024. And a lot of these features were born out of those discussions. One of the working groups that mentioned the separate documents was the REN Technical Forum. So they had shared with us that publishing to separate documents was high up the list of priorities for their members. So for the projects where the specifier wasn't in charge of managing the work packages, they just wanted a way of publishing the specification, but separate documents. And before this improvement went into the software, they were going through the publishing wizard one section at a time, and maybe on a Friday afternoon for hours, getting through a specification that's maybe 50, 100 plus sections long. So as a result of that improvement, this now takes minutes.
And the second feature you showed, David, on the tagging, I guess it can be configured however anybody wants to configure it, but I guess you want to learn from what other people do. And can you show how the sort of community comes together around Chorus and sort of shares best practice there?
Yeah, so, I mean, the specification is primarily a document produced for tendering, procurement, and quality verification. But the contents of the specification has got so many more purposes in it. So when we were developing tagging, the specifiers who were helping us with the design and development shared some of the use cases that they had in mind. So if I switch back to NBS Chorus and take you to the help menu where you'll see the read our support articles, there's a section dedicated to tagging in here. I'll just scroll down to that tagging section. Here we are here. And we captured those use cases from the specifiers in this article here. So some great examples, and I don't think this is an exhaustive list by any means. So you obviously can add tags to articles, whole sections, systems, that kind of thing. So the specifier shared was that it would be great for things like grouping around the plan of the RIBA plan of the RIBA plan of work project strategies. Maybe you want to call out your fire safety, your planning, your sustainability, but also at a more sort of publishing level, demonstrates how they're great for managing the contents of work packages. And then sort of at a more granular level, they're really helpful for calling out the requirements for things like contractors design. Maybe you've got a tag around samples or like contractors actions for maybe mock-ups. And once you're tagging at a clause level, then you can present that when you're publishing to PDF or Word, but you can also quickly get to those clauses and export them to Excel.
Yeah, and I like what you've done there with the naming convention as well, where you can sort of group tags by a theme with a prefix and stuff. But yeah, one final question: can you give us a bit of a taster of what's coming up in 2025?
Yeah, we're really excited about 2025. We're going to continue developing Chorus. I'd say, broadly speaking, we've got three big themes. The first one is around artificial intelligence. We're going to start a pilot in early 2025 to test with specifiers the introduction of an AI specification writing assistant. Secondly, we want to explore functionality around collaboration. So there it's about broadening our licensing model so that when you're working on a project with other practices, rather than them using your subscription, that they bring their own subscription. But also improving the notes functionality in Chorus so that you can assign people tasks. You can mention people that can get notifications. You can see what tasks you've got outstanding, and you can work through that sort of checklist, a task-driven workflow. The final one is around sustainability. So to add to the sustainability information we brought into Chorus in 2024, we're going to broaden the technical content and functionality further so that it makes it easier for US specifiers to define the sustainability requirements for your project in the spec.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to 2025 as well. Some really nice things there. So thank you very much, David. We're about to move on to Taylor now.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hi everyone. We heard from David there. We're interested in people that are experimenting with AI and things at the moment. So I just want to show one example where you can test specifications with AI just using ChatGPT. So we've got NBS Chorus here, and I've got a specification that's got bricks, insulation blocks, plasterboard in. And what I've done is just exported that to a PDF. So I've taken it out of the NBS system. And I'm just in ChatGPT here, and I can work with the specification content using AI. So I can say summarize the products in this spec in a table showing the key properties. And I think the way to think of AI is not something that's going to do your job for you, but that's going to be there as an assistant. So this is scanning the PDF. It's a well-structured PDF, and it's reporting on the 4 products that I've specified for that wall specification. And what's quite nice there is it's sort of making a call on what those sort of key properties are. So you've got things like recycled content. What's quite nice there on the thermal conductivity is it's sort of noticed the standardized units and pulled those out. So it's pretty clever. So be interested if people maybe have a try of that and just sort of feedback on what sort of use cases they can think of. But what's also quite good is how it can pull information from the web as well. So that first example is from inside a PDF. But if I was going to say, like, please look at this product and compare against the spec for the insulation. in a table, I like the table always, and say whether the values are better, same, or worse. And all I'm going to do is give that URL of the NBS, some sort of installation product, an NBS source. And it's clever enough here to think, okay, I'm going to compare with this generic spec for installation. And yeah, we'll just have a little look at it here. It's pretty amazing. So it's what I quite like about this example, it's recognized that the fire performance is the same. Because the recycled content's higher, it's saying better. But what's really nice about thermal conductivity here is it's higher, 034 is higher than 032, but it's clever enough to recognize that higher on thermal conductivity is actually worse. So I find that really fascinating, really interesting, but I'd love to know from people on the webinar today that are playing with things like this, what are the use cases that you found when you're looking at product information, specifications, etc. And the second thing I want to just talk about in terms of 2025 before we move on to Taylor is one thing we're going to release in Q1. And we've talked with a lot of customers about this, and it's we're going to do a sort of, it's going to be just a Microsoft Word document, but a best practice spec guide that pulls together all the best things from our training courses and things like that. And it creates a document you can use as an architectural practice and engineering practice to try and get sort of specification writing brought up to the quality level that you want across your practice. If you're working maybe as part of a design management function for a main contractor, you can maybe use this as a discussion document when you employ your design partners, maybe those sort of really big clients that do lots and lots of repeat buildings, but maybe even just things like training at universities and things like that. So if we keep an eye out for the best practice spec guide, it's going to be split into 10 sections, just covering all of the sort of main topics, like the fundamental topics to spec writing, editorial principles, how you want to structure your specifications, how you want to indicate design responsibilities and refer back to design responsibility matrices, schedule of services, how you want to do things like cross-referencing between drawing schedules and spec, what David covered in terms of publishing, how you'd like to lay out provision information, naming conventions in terms of publishing and sort of change management. When you're specifying either generically or by brand, how you'd like to do that in terms of the words on the page. We've looked at tagging. Would you like tagging in your specs? And then a section on digital technologies and a little open section where you can put your own specific guidance. So please keep an eye out for that in the next 2 or 3 months. And we'll definitely do a webinar, maybe even a sort of mini launch event in London where we bring 1 or 2 people together. And the one other thing to mention is for those working on big jobs, maybe want a little bit of support on spec consultancy, design management, even sort of BIM services, we now have a sort of internal specification writing consultancy service within NBS. The NBS Schumann team's been with us over a year now. It's grown hugely in size over the last 12 months. So please go to our website if you want to find out more about the NBS Schumann consultancy service we have. And now over to Taylor for the second part of the webinar.
Yeah, hi everyone, Happy New Year. I'm excited today to show you some new developments that we've made to the platform and how we can help you from the supplier side of the business in 2025. So I say the supplier side, but actually there's going to be information and things to show in here for everyone, as most of the things that we develop to help suppliers get specified is based on specifier feedback and improving the specifier user experience. So lots of relevant information for you to see today. The first way that we can help you in 2025 would be looking at RIBA CPD. So there's never been a more important time to deliver CPD and share the knowledge that is helping shape the safety and the sustainability of our buildings. So specifiers are wanting to lean on manufacturers as much as possible as the experts in their products. And the RIBA CPD platform really facilitates that. So based on that, we've made some updates to the RIBA CPD online platform. You'll notice a new RIBA-CPD.com with a new fresh look and feel, and we've made some improvements to the search. So we can search directly for the type of CPD we're looking for in the search tool at the top. Or what's quite nice as well is if you go into the RIBA CPD browse by core curriculum, you can find the different core curriculum areas that you really want to enhance your learning in. So if I wanted to come down to the sustainability section here, I'll find all the CPDs that relate to my sustainability choice. There's some nice filtering options down here, so we can look by material type. A question that we always get is whether manufacturers should deliver online CPD or face-to-face CPD, and the answer is usually both. People want to consume content in different ways, and it just allows you to reach a larger audience if you're offering both the online and the face-to-face option. So if I wanted to select on-demand webinar here, for example, I could also then filter down by the provider that I'm looking for, or maybe I just want to broaden my search and see what content's on there. So I can select on this CPD from Junkers, and then you've got the two different options there, book face-to-face or watch on-demand webinar. And you can see that I can start the video straight away from here. You have to sign in to do that, which means we can capture the data of people looking at the video and then also booking the seminar here as well. If you wanted to broaden your search a little bit further and you're not yet sure what you want to be looking for, you can look at the RIBA CPD showcase. So what this shows is handpicked CPD from the RIBA-CPD.com site underneath the featured CPD section, bit of inspiration, seeing the different CPDs that are available. And we've also got the What's New page as well. So the feedback that we get from specifiers all the time is if we've been using the network for a long time, we want new material, we want to see new innovative CPD. So a way to really get in front of more specifiers and have more conversations in 2025 would be to develop new material, and it would be all hosted here on the RIBA-CPD.com showcase. So the online version of the RIBA-CPD.com showcase also comes in email form. So this is an email that we send out to specifiers each month, and again shows handpicked CPD of different materials. So you can have a nice image in there, a bit of a description about your CPD, and a link off to again book the material. So if anyone's interested in being part of the RIBA CPD showcase, if you reach out to your NBS account manager, we can point you in the right direction for that. So those are the updates that we've made for RIBA CPD on the CPD.com site. The really nice bit is how we have integrated this with NBS Source. So if I open up the NBS Source platform here now, you'll see that there's a dedicated CPD section with those same browsing options available. And what we've also done is integrated it into the search. So if I was searching for products and looking for block paving, for example, I could go ahead and search for products straight away, or what I could do is filter down by CPD, and again, then find all the CPD available to my search. I can filter down by manufacturer. I can look at the different categories. And if I've got a manufacturer in mind that I want to have a look at, so I'm going to use this example, James Lathan, who are one of my companies that I look after and have recently done a lot of new CPD content. You can see straight away that we've got the RIBA CPD badge here to show that they are accredited. And then the nice new tab here as well, with all the CPD now listed on their page. This all links through to RIBA-CPD.com, and the bookings can be made from here as well. We've also integrated this with NBS Chorus. So if I wanted to specify this Accoya modified wood, for example, have all the information on here for the product, I can open that in NBS Chorus. And in the NBS Chorus specification software, the side panel for products will now tell me which manufacturer's got CPD available. So if I was searching for that James Lathan product, I like the look of their product, but I want to find a little bit more about that. It lets me know that the RIBA CPD option is there available, and that would then take me to the page where I can book the material. So that's what sort of happened for RIBA CPD on the front end of the platform. There's been some updates as well on the manufacturer partner platform, so where you update your content for NBS Source. You can now update and manage your CPD in here as well. So what that means is your material can be sent for approval in here. We'll give you the feedback on it, or RIBA will give you the feedback on it in here. And you can also register your events for each of your CPD to keep track of the CPD seminars you've been delivering. The next sort of development from this is CPD analytics that will be appearing in your NBS intelligence area. So this allows you to keep track of your CPDs, bookings that have been made, when you've had videos watched, and when you've had CPDs that have been in the showcase. Will show you the impressions and views that you've got off the back of that as well. So lots of updates made on the CPD side of the platform. The next thing that I'd like to show you, if we go back to the NBS Source platform, is all centered around sustainability. So whether you're a supplier, manufacturer, or NBS on this call, we all have a responsibility to help towards the sustainability of our industry. Specifiers want to make informed product decisions based on the carbon cost of their project, and the absolute core of that is manufacturers being transparent with the product data. So we want to make it easier than ever for you to show the product data and the sustainability data, to show off that information and also make it as favourable as possible in these product decisions. So if, again, I was using that block paving example and search from NBS Source, you can see that I've got a lot of information on here relating to sustainability. So I know straight away through these little icons here that product has got an EPD certificate. I can see their sustainability data is also linked up to this product as well. And the nice filters, which I'm sure we've shown you before, showing the certifications, and then also looking at the recycled content and the embodied carbon in each of the products. If I click onto the product, I'll just use this one as an example. You can again see all the sustainability information listed underneath the product data in a nice structured way. So what this means is that we can easily access the EPD certificate and also have all the information that we need to then support the product selection later down the line. I'd just like to show you an example of how we've also improved showing certification at company level on NBS Source. So if I select this manufacturer who has a nice profile, which I was looking at earlier, you can see that straight away on the home page in the overview, we've got their EPD available. If I then go over to the sustainability tab, we're making it easier than ever to show the sustainability information for this company as well as at product level. So you can write in your own sustainability overview and explaining what you're doing and the ethical practices you've got in place. But then also we can see the certifications that relate to the sustainability elements of your business hosted on here. So the ISO 14001, the FSC certificate here as they are a timber manufacturer. And you can also download the certificates in here. So you've got everything all in one location to help make a project decision as easy as possible. The next thing that I'd like to show you is relating to how you let more people know about the good information that you've got on the NBS Source platform. So once you've got all your product information up to date on NBS Source and you've got your sustainability data in there and you've got your CPD and you're ready to let more people know about the content that you've got available, the NBS marketing service is a really good way of using our audience to reach more people. So on the NBS Source, we have recently implemented sponsored products. So what this will mean is that you can get the most favourable position in the search in both NBS Source and Chorus. So if I searched in street furniture, as an example here, you can see that the products that I've chosen to be sponsored at the top of this search appear right at the top in the source search. This is all based on the keywords that are put in the data. And the nice bit as well is that that's also available over in NBS Chorus. So if I click manufacturer in here, on that product side panel, the two sponsored products also appear here, giving you the best chance of being selected for the project. We've also put this in the NBS intelligence section, so you'll be able to see when the product was sponsored, the different analytics you received compared to when it wasn't, so you can really easily track your return of investment. We also do some more advertorial and thought leadership work. So if you're interested in writing something that you feel like you've got a good story to tell in or that you can help educate people in, there's opportunities to be a part of our website. So Oscar Acoustics here did a really nice spotlight for us, picked a topic that they felt comfortable speaking in, and then put the copy together with us, which is now hosted on our website. We also have opportunities to sponsor our webinars. So again, staying with that same Oscar Acoustics example, if you scroll down, you can see that they've got a nice story to tell here, an image, then this links all the way back to the NBS Source profile as well. As well as NBS newsletters, we also have what we call partner emails. So these are emails specific to your company. This is a really nice example from Eaton Electric. What we've found works well in partner emails is emails that are giving something to the user. So whether that's a CPD or a webinar, this is a really nice example of giving a guide, which again is offering that educational element, which ties back to the same as CPD. So there's lots of different options in here. If anyone is interested in looking at how we can help you promote your products further in 2025, then reach out to your NBS account manager and we can share with the different examples.
Thanks for that, Taylor. It's really good to see what we're doing there for manufacturers as well as specifiers. And of course, that information all comes together in terms of specification writing as well. I guess it's great to see. Like you mentioned the EPD certificates and the carbon quite a lot in terms of the sustainability properties. But what other sustainability credentials are there as well as the sort of carbon?
Okay, so yeah, we can obviously have your carbon information on there, which would help you pull from your EPD documents, but also things like the recyclability of the product and where the product was manufactured and where you source your materials from. So you can help develop a full picture of the sustainability of the products, not just on the embodied carbon side. Yeah,
of course, because things like whole life cycle, I guess it's how far has it got to travel to the site, how long is the product going to last, and what you do at the end, as you say, as well. So
exactly.
And I think David also mentioned that we're looking at reporting from the spec on that this year as well. So hopefully once we've got that data standardized in Source, then it gets added into the specification. We're giving our specifiers that sort of fighting chance to do really good reporting on what they've been specified. And I know the team did a lot in 2024 last year on the CPD development. Can you say a little bit about how manufacturers can go from delivering CPD all the way through to, I guess, being specified, which is what they want?
Definitely. I think, the CPD is very much that early stage, developing those relationships, having conversations with specifiers about projects that they might be working on, how you can help that. And, the next step on from that is how they then find you product information, NBS Source, and go on to ultimately specify you. So what we would always recommend is at the end of your CPD presentation and throughout the Q&A session, referring back to your NBS Source profile. Here's where you can find our product data, all our information in one place, just to really close that gap between the CPD and then making sure the following up happens after as well. A lot of that will be easy to track now through the manufacturer partner platform, where we'll have that information in your analytics portal, and you'll also be able to keep track of the registered events. So you've got a list that you can go at to make sure that you're following up after the CPD and ultimately getting specified on the project.
Yeah, and I guess that offering to manufacturers is twofold, isn't it? It's the well-structured digital information that's there at the fingertips, but it's that human expertise and the support, whether it's CPD or spec writing services.
Yeah, definitely the technical support side of it as well.
Yeah, no, really nice. Yeah, so one thing I'd just like to finish on the manufacturer side is how we're trying to work with manufacturers to more efficiently pull their data into NBS Source. So especially the manufacturers that have a few, like hundreds, if not thousands of products. So when we're looking at our sort of development server here, and one thing the team are hard at work at is the ability to import a lot of information in one go. So here's a test manufacturer that's got some mineral wool installation, some glass fiber installation. There's a brick there as well, just sort of test data. But if I go to the imports area here, what we've got here is a way of sort of setting up importing information from a product information management system that a manufacturer may have and pulling it sort of smoothly into NBS Source so it can be specified efficiently. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to pull in a collection of installation products just by browsing to a Excel file that's been exported out of what we call like a PIM system. So when I click there, it looks at what's in that Excel or CSV file. And you can see there it's pulling all the information from Excel here. And then And once you've done this once as a manufacturer, it's sort of set up, but you can map the fields coming from your PIM system into NBS Source. So then you can sort of very quickly sort of pull them through and see what products are sort of coming in, what need to be edited, what hasn't changed, etc. So it's at an early stage. We want to be testing it in Q1 of 2025. So if you're a manufacturer that's part of NBS Source and want to work with our development team and sort of testing that functionality out, give us a little email afterwards or a message in the chat window. Now, one other thing before we finish off, just a reminder that all of the NBS events, all of our webinars can be accessed from the events area of the NBS.com. And last year in 2024, we had lots and lots of sort of great content out there. So by all means, have a scan through and look what we have here. Just going back over the sort of second half of 2024, there was a really nice example of how HMM architects are using NBS Chorus and how Dulux Trade are supporting with specification writing services. In terms of our annual conference, we've got the 3 keynotes on building safety with Paul Morell, sustainability with Chris Hines, and artificial intelligence with Karen Burns. We had a really, really interesting sort of 60-minute discussion panel on the Building Safety Act that was watched by thousands, I think it was 3,000 plus to sort of finish off 2024. And we've got a couple of other presentations there from our annual conference, the Leaders Summit, as well, all available to watch on demand. So just to sort of summarize, we've heard from David in terms of specification writing. We've heard from Taylor in terms of how manufacturers can put their information and their services in front of specification writers and designers. But in summary, 2025 is going to be a big year on topics like sustainability and building safety across all of our products at NBS. Just asking the question, will 2025 be a huge year in terms of artificial intelligence, where we're definitely working on prototyping, and we love your feedback on that one. If you're an architect, you're an engineer, hopefully you've seen the different features today and maybe have a think if you want to speak to one of your account manager on maybe moving from Chorus to Chorus Pro, or from Chorus Pro to Chorus Premium to get unlock more of the features we've been developing, and then the different services that are available there to manufacturers. So you've got here's my specification information, but if you're interested in developing things like BIM objects or developing a CPD as part of the RIBA CPD service, or even things like advertising services or spec writing offering, speak to your account manager if you're a manufacturer. And all feedback on anything is welcome, either through the chat mechanism of this webinar, or if you want to find out more about NBS platform services, you can always speak to your NBS account manager or get in touch the events at the NBS.com. So thank you for your time today. Have a great 2025, and bye-bye.